Hey, welcome. Today we are going to crack open a philosophical idea that's, believe it or not, over 2,000 years old, but it has seriously never been more relevant than it is right now. We're talking about Plato's Allegory of the Cave and how it might just hold the key to understanding our own, our very digital world. All right, so let's just jump right in with a question that gets to the heart of everything. Are we being controlled by the media we consume? Or maybe even by the media we're allowed to consume? I know, it's a pretty heavy thought, but it is the exact question Plato forces us all to confront. Because, you see, the central idea here is, what if we're living in a kind of cave, a modern digital cave? It's not built out of rock, but out of information, algorithms, and, well, our own perceptions. And on the walls of this modern cave, we see these flickering shadows that, honestly, we often mistake for the real thing. I mean, think about it. You've got misinformation that's designed to look exactly like news. Social media algorithms that just keep feeding you more and more of what you already believe. Cultural norms we just accept without even thinking. And of course, the echo chambers that come from all that. Yeah, these are the shadows of our time. So what if an ancient story, like a really ancient story, held the key to understanding all of this stuff? What if it could give us a map to see beyond these shadows? Okay, let's do it. Let's dive in. We're going back to the original cave. Okay, picture this. Plato, speaking through his teacher Socrates, asks us to imagine an underground den. It's this dark, kind of subterranean world, and way, way up high, there's an opening to the light. Now, inside this den, there are prisoners who have been there since the day they were born. And they're chained up in a way that they can't move their legs or even turn their heads. Their entire existence, their whole life, has been spent facing just one direction, straight ahead, at a blank wall. Okay, so behind these prisoners, a fire is blazing. And get this, between the fire and the prisoners, there's this raised path. And on that path, puppeteers are walking back and forth, holding up statues and all sorts of figures, animals, objects, you name it. And the fire casts the shadows of these things right onto the wall that the prisoners are staring at. So for these prisoners, these flickering shadows, they're not just shadows. They are the only reality they have ever known. The voices of the puppeteers echo, and it sounds to the prisoners like the shadows themselves are talking. This whole two-dimensional show, that is their entire world. And this is where Socrates lands the first big punch. He turns to his friend Glaucon and says, "These prisoners are like ourselves." Just think about that for a second. He's suggesting that maybe we, too, are just staring at a wall, completely mistaking shadows for the real deal. But what happens if one of these prisoners is suddenly set free? Well, the journey out of the cave isn't some happy, instant aha moment. No, it's a painful, really disorienting climb toward the truth. I mean, just imagine being forced to stand up and turn around for the very first time in your life. That fire, which was always just a source of this comfortable dim light, is now absolutely blinding. The freed prisoner is in pain. He's confused, he's distressed. Literally everything he thought was real is suddenly being challenged. And in fact, his first instinct is to just retreat. He'll actually argue that the shadows he's known his whole life are truer and clearer than the real objects that are now being shown to him. It's just, the comfort of that illusion is so much more appealing than this painful new reality. Now, if he's dragged, and I mean dragged, out of the cave into the world above, his eyes are going to be completely dazzled by the light. Socrates explains that he'll have to adjust in stages. So first he'll only be able to make out shadows, then maybe reflections in the water, and slowly he'll be able to look at the actual objects themselves, and then the moon and the stars at night. And only at the very end, last of all, will he be able to look directly at the sun itself, the source of all light and all truth. So now our freed prisoner has seen reality. He finally understands the world as it truly is. And what's his natural instinct? Well, of course, it's to go back down and share this incredible discovery with his friends who are still chained up in the dark. But his return is not going to be a happy one. You see, after being in the brilliant light of the sun, his eyes just aren't used to the darkness of the cave anymore. So when he goes back, he can't see the shadows on the wall clearly at all. He's just stumbling around, his eyes, as Plato puts it, full of darkness. The other prisoners, they don't see an enlightened man. they just see a fool. They laugh at him. They say that whole journey upwards completely ruined his eyesight, and that, you know what, it's better to not even think about leaving. And here's the really chilling part. If he tries to free them, to drag them up to the light, they'll get so hostile, they will literally try to kill him just to protect their precious world of shadows. So, what does all of this actually mean? This isn't just some weird story about prisoners in a cave, right? It's a really profound metaphor for the human condition. So, let's decode it. Okay, let's break this down, kind of like a Rosetta Stone for the allegory. The cave itself, that's our everyday perceived reality, the world we see and hear and touch. The shadows, those are the popular beliefs, the common opinions, all the surface-level stuff we just take for granted. The journey upwards, that's the hard work. It's the ascent of the soul into the world of ideas, of real thought. And the sun? What's the sun? That is the ultimate idea of good, or truth itself. It's the source of everything. So the whole story is really about a journey from just passively watching things to actively, intellectually understanding them. And this just brilliantly illustrates Plato's whole idea of education. See, for him, it's not about pouring facts into someone's head, like you're just showing them better, clearer shadows. No way. True education is about turning the entire soul around, redirecting the mind away from the darkness and toward the light of reason and real critical thought. Which, of course, brings us right back to the beginning, full circle. If Plato's cave is this huge metaphor, what does it mean for us right here, right now? Are we ready to start questioning our own shadows and maybe begin that difficult ascent? Because ultimately, the allegory is a powerful, powerful cautionary tale. It's warning us about the real danger of getting too comfortable in our own little version of reality. It shows just how easy it is to become intellectually lazy, and even worse, how we can become actively hostile to new, challenging ideas, especially when they threaten the comfortable shadows on our own walls. And let's just make this comparison super explicit. In the cave, the shadows are crafted by these unseen puppeteers who have their own motives, right? Well, in your modern echo chamber, your reality, your social media feed, is shaped by unseen algorithms you don't control. And these systems, they're not designed to show you what's true. They're designed to show you what will keep you watching, usually by just reinforcing what you already think. They are the modern puppeteers crafting a personalized reality just to keep our eyes glued to the wall. And that leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought to chew on. The philosopher Schopenhauer once said that all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. And third, it's accepted as being self-evident. So, as we look around at all the polarized debates and the deep divisions in our world today, you gotta ask yourself, when it comes to breaking free from our own caves, which stage do you think we're in right now?